I think I'm getting used to it. They are my team. Some of them I play with college or play in college with, so I know most of them. So it's getting easier to get used to the environment and just overall the competitive scene. I think the stakes feel a bit different, but the competition, honestly, I'm not too nervous really. I think I've always expected myself to play at this level, so I'm not that nervous at all. Key factor for us to keep winning, honestly, just keep improving. I think we've only been together for a week or two now, so every day matters. Every day we put in work, and as long as we keep improving, I know we'll definitely be one of the top teams in Challengers for sure.
Hope you guys are ready for a game 3 in the series, because I know Leon is. Hi, he is so happy.
Aww.
But yeah, a little bit of wholesome before we get down to the nitty gritty. Elimination, game 3, bind on the horizon. SAD Esports. What a match number 2, Roy, to be able to bring us into another game. That was, I mean, they just had Abyss on lock, and they just kind of ran over Nightblood Gaming, especially looking at the one side of this map.
Yeah, I'm actually a really big fan of how SAD Esports was approaching this map, right? They're using the Viper utility towards the B side of the map to isolate their targets, to sort of find their way around the maps. But yeah, I mean, but this is what the talking about that we were having, right? Is the fact that SAD Esports came into this map. It's one of their best maps. They've performed quite well on it. They have an idea of how they want to play it, and the roles fit so nicely into their approach. And it feels like they really found their win conditions, and they just kept abusing it over and over, and it just worked.
I mean, not even just worked, but it kind of seemed to get under Nightblood Gaming's skin a little bit. I mean, they started getting super aggressive back, and it kind of worked for one round, which was like, oh, okay, like, we're going to fight this out. This is going to be scrappy. But then SAD Esports being able to recollect and just kind of keep on moving on, Ash. And then once we got into the side swap, it kind of looked interesting that, hey, Nightblood Gaming could maybe do the same back, but SAD had different ideas.
They did have different ideas. I think that, there was a lot of that belief coming in, maybe a reverse sweep coming out from MBG, considering that we were down 4-8 for them initially, and then getting 4 rounds in a row once we swapped sides there. But I think you also look at, again, like some of that post-plant success here as well. I think what SAD did really well was abusing their retake positionings. You have the fact that Ferbza on that Yoru, especially able to TP past the wall on the side of MBG, that Fireball's throwing up for that flank. And those sandwich retakes and fast floods that SAD were looking for were really effective.
Yeah, and I think that's the power of the Yoru, right? And that's why he's such a big talking point in the current meta, is just his ability to bypass a lot of the stuff that most other agents are restricted by. But I do want to circle back to something that you were talking about, Ash, and it's that full round wins. And it's something that we actually have not mentioned on broadcast at all. But SAD Esports does have a coach. It's Sexy Christian. That's his name, by the way. It's not me flirting with him or anything. But yeah, he made a timeout call, and after that round, they pretty much went on a win streak. So I mean, he must have had some kind of read into how NBG was approaching their attack side, and it seems after that timeout, it seemed to work quite well.
And looking at just the overall performances coming out, I mean, we talked about kind of the controllers going into this, but Benji on the side of SAD Esports, his vice utility was so annoying. Yep. And then Ferbza, I mean, Roy, you had already called out like that Yoru difference, and Ferbza definitely played super clean.
Yeah, I really like the way they were approaching it, right? They had Benji with the Vice Util as well as Zerona. They're doubled up. They're pretty much running double Senti on the B side of the map. So I mean, they had that locked down at one point. Of course, having the aim to back it up is an amazing feat.
And I love that you make that shout out too, Sarah, because something that we didn't really talk about as much is like, we did talk about the Yoru versus the Jet, not really touching too much on the fact that with the clone for Ferbza, that ability to use the Vice Wall coming up and just being able to bait that out really early on versus Benji on that Vice up against Alim on the Jet. I think what the Vice Vines does really well is just slowing down that entry potential, especially when you're defaulting it on like Pop Box over on that site. It makes it really uncomfortable to actually try to take that space in the way that Jet is.
Something with this series as well. I mean, I feel like that was the weirdest series ever with just some of these timings that were coming out. That was, I mean, right. I feel like it was just, I don't know, unlucky at some points, honestly, for both teams.
I mean, it cancels out at some point, right? Like if both teams are getting unlucky, then someone is either balanced or someone is winning the coin flips. But yeah, I've literally never seen more timings in one game than I have in this match. And I wish we could somehow magically find these clips and post them later because it would be really funny. But it was like, it felt like if you went to util form or you looked away for a split second, there's somebody just there and they're ready to kill you. And I was like, wow, what is going on? It's crazy.
Every time. But now we have to start talking about the implications in the rest of the series in this map 3 ahead. Looking over at Bind as the decider in the series. And this is where stuff starts to get actually pretty scary for Nightblood Gaming, because if you're looking back at the history of these teams, Ash, this one doesn't look quite as great.
No, it doesn't. I think you look at Bind and without a doubt, it's SAD Esports' best map. I think Ferbza's electric on this map. I love seeing him on the Raze here. And that's very daunting when you look towards NBG. Sure, they did have a close matchup against YFP, but that was a lot earlier on in the split during the first round. Before a lot of these teams were even leaning heavily into the current meta that we're seeing today too. And it's very untraditional composition. I'm not really a big fan of what NBG was running beforehand. They're running that double controller Brimstone Viper. They also threw on the Deadlock Sentinel on top of that. And so there's not nearly as much assistance, I don't think, for Alim when he's actually trying to make that space on his site, if you do see him on that.
I'm curious if we will get to see the same composition coming out, though, because in Challengers, at least, it's been over a month since we have gotten to see Nightblood Gaming play on this map. Whereas for SAD Esports, we know that is a strong map for them, but they definitely have that more reps on it. So I'd be intrigued if we do get to see a little bit of a change, Roy, or if it is just going to be Nightblood Gaming being like, hey, this is something we ran before. We know we can elevate it. Maybe we didn't play our best and we could try and take it down this time.
Yeah, and I mean, historically speaking, Nightblood Gaming is a type of team that is willing to swap comps. They're willing to jump ship whenever they feel like something isn't working. So I mean, I completely agree. I don't think it wouldn't be that surprising to see a swap here happening. But even if they don't make any swaps, even if they're comfortable with that fact, I mean, their last match against YFP wasn't really that bad. It was still a 13-10 to what we consider one of the best teams in the league at the moment, obviously. So I think it's not terrible. I think they're fine. But I do agree with Ash. I think it is slightly concerning, especially with just how many match reps SAD Esports has had, and they're undefeated. They're 4-0 on the map. It's undeniably one of their best maps. They have some of the most reps on that map, so it is not looking great. But the veto is just honestly very unfortunate for them. But overall, I do feel like it could go either way, but I am slightly leaning to the meta that SAD Esports is going with.
Yeah, and I think you can do even that comparison of, okay, they have so many reps on this map. There's a lot to look back on there for NBG to get a better read of the approach that SAD Esports are going to be taking. Granted, sometimes that approach is literally just Ferbza go kill. He's definitely a big, yeah, for sure. Definitely a big win con from them, but that also doesn't take away at all from the teamwork that is coming in on the side of SAD Esports either. I think they have really cool combinations that they're able to throw with the Astra Grabwell and even like the net nade deadlock alongside those Tejo salvos, the missiles, and the nade out from the Raze there as well. I think it's going to be really interesting to see if these comps just carry forward for both sides.
I'm going to make sure to throw a little cope out there for anyone else for Nightblood Gaming side here, because I'm looking for my prediction here. But even with that close series up against YFB, I feel like it was an uncharacteristic series for some of the players on the team. Alum's been someone who we've highlighted a lot as a duelist, going negative on the Neon of all things.
His best agent.
Yeah, like that shouldn't be happening, you know. Boy last week had an exceptional series, unfortunately didn't get to do too much. And a lot of how this was close was Kess just putting on a performance on the sky. I think Kess is someone who can always put up a performance. I think if Alum starts to be a thorn in the side of SAD Esports, and if we get to see the step up where the team has shown they can do that on the other maps, Roy, this could be a little closer. So I'm not ready to throw in the towel quite yet on the side of Nightblood Gaming, just for that one Challenger show.
Yeah, I think that it'll be pretty interesting. I feel like you look for the performance that you were talking about that Kess put on. I think Alum still did really well. He did his role as far as making that space, still went like 5 and 3 for those bloods. And then you consider the fact that you look at their composition, aside from him being self-sufficient with those concusses, he only has Kess to rely on. The rest of the team comp is not an aggressive style team comp that can really assist him at all. And I feel like that is also what takes a little bit of a toll on his.
All right, I'm coughing on this Copian over here. It's crazy, but
I'll take some, pass some.
Agent select, we see the switch. Cast the Tejo. Okay, let's go.
Yes, I like that. I like that. I like to see the swap to the Tejo. I think he's incredibly strong. Teams are starting to realize that. But the interesting part is they've actually kept the duelist. They're totally fine with the duelist. They just didn't really like the Deadlock and the Viper. So they swapped off the second controller. They completely swapped their Sentinel role, and they're opting for the more utility based with the Breach to set up the Neon. And that's going to give them so much offensive power, especially on their attack side. And when it comes to defense, so many trap plays.
Yeah, it's going to be great for clearing out a lot of that space, but it still also gives that opportunity for, I think, some of the approach that NBG originally had here on Bind, where they were looking for a very post-plant heavy composition previously as well. And this still allows for some of those pieces to work together in that regard. But I love seeing them lean into this, the current meta of Valorant, like you were saying there, Roy. I'm really excited to see how they're able to better support LM now with this comp.
All right, well, it's the SAD Esports that have been proven on this map with this composition, and Nightblood Gaming that is switching it up and elimination on the line. Time to head to the third map of the series, and for the final time for this series, head back over to your casters, Shift and Marks.
It's going to be a spicy meet the ball. A little different complimented for Nightblood Gaming, and I like it. It is interesting, though. I mean, Deadlock has dominated this map for the last year. Yeah. So it's going to be, I think, compelling to see with the Neon, how do they actually break through when they're on the offensive side and secure safe post plans? And maybe even more compelling that we can just immediately talk about here, Mark. Defensively, how do you stop the Deadlock from getting their utility down for the free post plants that we often see?
I mean, this is just going to be really an interesting question, if I'm being honest with you, because usually, like what we are expecting with these types of compositions, especially too with the Deadlock coming in, you got the Tejo, all that type of stuff. There's a lot of like traps that get set up on defense. Whether or not you're locking someone in over here, locking someone in over there. Oh no, there goes those salvos, and kaboom, you explode. Nightblood Gaming simply does not have any of that available, and so have to try and bait a lot of that type of stuff out in order to really maximize what they're able to do. But SAD Esports, like the utility is based around just flooding in, and we're already seeing that happen.
Oh, okay, that worked out for Ursa. Fireball already out of the picture. Boy, thinking about this.
Spike planted.
Nebula, little shoulder. Oh, doesn't know who to shoot at, and now he's missed his window. Paint cells right into his face. What? Ursa, hello? Doesn't know what weapon to go to. Gets caught swapping between knives, and that will be enough to at least allow an opportunity for the defense to work, especially if Halo can come around the back and find an opportunity to open things up from mid, not the nice little follow-up flash coming through. Guiding Light does connect from Zerona to make Dip's life brutally easy, and it'll only be a single death for Sadie's part of the pistol.
And so, once again, talking about Nightblood Gaming's composition, especially too with that Neon that we're going to be seeing flying around, especially on that defense, with the agents that they've picked, to me, that says that they're playing a lot of like supportive roles. So you're going to use the Tejo salvos to push someone out of the corner, and then the Neon's going to zip across the screen and be able to find that kill. Little things like that, or you stun people up with the fault line, and then Neon's able to swing across. But on a macro level, especially too on this defense, you know, it leaves something a little bit more to give. But I guess if you have enough guns shooting the right way, that'll do just fine.
And those are all classics with just one sheriff in the picture. This has gone wrong, but maybe an opportunity to try to trap a couple of members over towards well. Problem is, Spike is here, and the battleground has been set for round number 2. Counter eco round possibly underway here, and sure will be really cleanly. That's 3 weapons collected, a little bit more than that if you count the pistol upgrade, but that shouldn't have happened as classics just beat rifles down B long.
I know they said on the desk, like, oh, sometimes Sad Esports are like, Ferpsa, go kill. But that time it was just like the entirety of the Nightblood gaming squad. All right, boys, let's move out and go kill them. And it was just like the speed and ferocity that you could tell that Sad Esports were not expecting. And that is something that we're seeing Nightblood Gaming do on these previous 2 maps leading up to this final 3rd map. When they are able to take the advantage into their thing and really dictate the speed of the gunfight, Sad Esports have a terrible time trying to respond to it. And so Sad need to make sure that they keep this measured, otherwise this Neon's going out of control.
Yeah, so well done. You're not going to freely touch orbs on this map. If you're looking at this from Sad Esports perspective, there's just too much through the wall utility that will allow Alum to do just that. Fault line, dip forward, slide up, find the free kill, and now you've got an early 5v4. I mean, this is what I'm kind of worried about, you know, for Sad Esports is, you know, they've played compositions that give you the intention of calculated layering of utility, but I won't lie, some of their executes have not shown much layering besides the first or second layer. And if Nightblood Gaming just draw out, say, we're just going to take gunfights, it could catch Sad Esports off guard.
Yeah, like it almost feels like Nightblood Gaming are trying to purposefully force those awkward positions going through. I talked about how a lot of this utility is simply just based around the fact that you want to just run at them and brawl and catch, like force people out of their positions, disrupt them, all of that type of stuff. And that really is the Achilles heel of Sad Esports. If Nightblood Gaming continue to find those opportunities, then they're just going to run over Sad. And if you're Sad Esports now, like you have to just collect yourselves a little bit, hold back, see what utility is going on, get a better sense of how this map is kind of unfolding, because you cannot consistently being caught in all of these traps that Nightblood Gaming are kind of going and giving up free kills like that one.
Yeah, I mean, the other side of this kind of conversationally, you know, Sad Esports will be telegraphing when they're executing because you have to have doozy stars in play to break down these sites. There's no other way about it. And here we go again. It's just quick utility right through mid, completely catches Sad off guard. And it's just, I again, like seeing the rosters on, or the compositions on paper, I think almost everybody who's been watching VCT would say the team with Raze is likely to win. But flat out, Sad have not impressed me to this point in this series on how they've layered their utility. And that is a must when it comes to playing this competition.
And like once the Nightblood Gaming train starts, it don't stop for nobody. That's 3 rounds in a row now that they've just been running out, finding an early kill, and then sweeping up the rest of Sad Esports. And this is the rifling round coming in from Sad. Fireball off just on the other side here. Ferpsa not even going to get a chance. And they really just have to take that answer. I'm wondering whether or not you call an early timeout soon if you are Sad Esports, just to be like, hey, they're running at us with this Neon. We're uncomfortable. Let's set up some traps for them to push into us instead. They've got the utility to do that. Whether or not it is just to send the salvos out early to prevent that Neon from pushing forward. Get Nightblood Gaming to burn all their utility really early on while you just stay nice and safe. Something needs to change here for Sad.
The thing about it, you know, I'm no mathematician here, but you would think with Sad, with the ability to play stars and then freely pick them up, that you would be fine to allow Nightblood to show this force if they want to, because they can't stay like through mid. They can't stay through B long. They can't stay through hookah, just due to the fact that all it takes is a stealth drone and a star to re-win out position. And it looks like Sad Esports will take a bit of a pause here. Now, granted, this round is kind of not one that you mainly consider because it is just save round on Sheriff, but still, it's you would have to think that if NBG are going to keep doing this, that esports have to allow it to happen and then play late rounds, kind of like old school T1 used to do.
And yeah, just excellent comboing of utility, but Fireball Ops still able to find first stuff.
For one, right clicks are chipping away with a little bit of damage. Benji around the backside of the box and able to collect, but he's the last one standing, and I say that with hesitation. He's really more just the last one limping. He's on 15 HP. Flash will allow a peek, and everyone knows where he is. It's just making sure they do this the safe way, and the salvo will flush him out of the backside connector, and it'll be a 4-1 start very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, these rounds are over like in a blink of an eye, especially those initial ones. And SAD Esports, sure, they do have 2 of their ultimates online, the Armageddon as well as the Net. But yeah, okay, here's going to be the timeout now. They've got rifles in. We're seeing a different look come in from this Nightblood Gaming defense where they just really measured and took their time. And you could just tell that there was so much more hesitation from SAD. But like you said, that was just one of those save rounds. So SAD Esports, like, shake it off, you know, get your head back into the game here. We still got quite a bit of Valorant to go. You can't get eliminated just by the speed and ferocity that Alim is flying at you with right now.
Yeah, and I think the other part about this, and again, just like showing how these 2 critical rounds have come through for Nightblood, it's been a fault line with a relabel and a slide out, and both of them. So like, you just have to be able to receive the fault line combination. You could, and I think the other part about it is like, I understand it can be difficult to deal with when you talk about the combination of Breach and Neon, but you can't be letting a Taeho and a Cypher run you down sand. Like,
yeah,
it's just that one's a little less excusable. I'll say that much. So critical round here to see if SAD Esports off the timeout can figure out what they want to do in the opening.
All right, let's see if they do it again. I mean, the Breach is onto the other side of the map. Alim does have that operator, so that to me that says that they're not going to be just running it down and sliding around. And SAD Esports, they've got their sights set onto this B site. I imagine we're going to be seeing a lot more of a measured execution, but speaking of execution, Ferbsa already in the ground. Such an early pick and dip coming in from Alim.
That's so frustrating for SAD Esports. They're sitting here like, okay, no fault line, we're good. Just kidding. Operator in round 6. And that's the difference maker early. Still an opportunity, yeah, to drone this out. Try to put the pressure onto Alim here. You've got stars that can still be placed. Stealth drone on the other side denied. And now you've got to just show me what this layering looks like. Alim cannot be allowed to get another free shot off here.
And Nightblood Gaming on their defense are so aware. Armageddon now going to get called, but should be able to escape nice and easy.
That's going to step up into this. Wow. That's bold. Does get locked into place. But Dip does kind of trade out his life. Annihilation coming through, and a follow-up elimination behind that worked out nicely. So Alim will be the last one really standing, if you want to call it that, as he will eventually be eliminated out. And boy, well, you may want to give this a 1v3 go. He's got a ton of money, so why not give it a try?
Yeah, and on top of that too, finds 1 kill, dies, does whatever, doesn't matter. We'll have Orbital Strike online. So if you're boy in this scenario, you want to slap those guns out of SAD Esports' hands and maybe get that ultimate online.
Oh, sees the barrel. Could be an isolated 1v1 here, but the corner does get double checked by Dip. Just takes a little bit of a wider peek, finds 3 in the round. So that one will work out after the first blood comes through quickly for Alim on the operator. But again, there's still plenty of money to go around if you're NBG.
And now that we have a moment to breathe, because this isn't just like, oh my goodness, it's popping off. Oh, the round's already over. With the SAD Esports composition, you want to let your utility do a lot of the talking for you. With how these compositions are built, you want to set up those traps, flush people out of these different areas. The Annihilation is an excellent example of this, but Kess, I think, is an even a better example. You can see it's just like we cover and flood the site with our utility before they even show any of their bodies. That's how you want to be playing this a little bit more, but it's a fast flood coming in from Nightblood Gaming, this time not finding anything off of that initial utility.
Yeah, but again, the pressure through B long is established. Corona cannot fall here. You just have to hold on to Hookah. And I think you're actually going to hear a number of these footsteps retreating back over. Gives away the position with the shot. It does lock the defense, then also pulls Alim back. Here's the paint shells to try to open up the backside of U-Haul. Bycam seeing a ton though as your Fireball, and well, the Armageddon cuts down mid as well, so the spike is down. Showstopper doesn't even get to the backside of the site. Orbital strike blows it up. It's fireworks. The Michael Bay film all over the top of the A site, and it's turning up all in favor of Nightblood.
Yeah, speaking about relying on your utility, relying on your ultimate's just as effective that round. Ferbsa doesn't even find a kill with the showstopper either. And now Zerona in an impossible scenario. Cass going for that one tap just around the corner. Everyone was talking about how this is going to be Sad's map, and yet Nightblood Gaming are simply running away with it.
And that's a good choice of words because it is just running. I mean, they are sprinting through this map at the moment. And it's just, again, this is where I think you really see the difference, and not to hark on this too much because it's still a lot of game to be played here, but this is where you see the difference between the teams that have already kind of qualified in for playoffs and those that are still fighting to stay alive and survive. Is like, again, the layering is just not here. And Ferbsa throws his showstopper to nobody, essentially. There's no utility up top towards heaven. It's just, you have to wait for Tuesday's call saying my stars are in place, they're popped, we can flash and we can try to work our way in, but they have yet to really even see a site cleanly. And it's got to be really frustrating, I think, especially if you're Benji, who's sitting here like, guys, you got to clear the site so I can get my agent to do some work.
Yeah, I mean, also too, tossing in the grab net there, you're just hoping for something. Okay. Oh, Benji, can't do anything without utility, huh?
Neural theft comes through, Cyber Cage is out. Susie revealed. Does collect the rifle. Fault line will come up a bit short. Back through the octagon here over towards B. It's a short-sided defense, but Susie did not expect the fireball and already pushed through it. Again, it's just a little bit of disrespect being shown now by Nightblood, just pushing their way through all of this.
Boy's sticking this one out, but the flood comes through. Ferbsa looking the wrong way. Boy's still alive.
Okay. Eventually find the elimination. That'll be another weapon collect. 2v3, but Cass is on the flank. Oh, and they spam him out. This could be an easy trade here for Diff, but the Guardian does not land true, and Cass finds both. 6-2 through 8. Nightblood Gaming wiping the floor right now with Sad Esports.
This is just like unbelievable. Sad Esports, they look so scattered. Something that we talked about them being so strong and playing in a squad together. And it feels like they're just being fundamentally dismantled one by one. No longer able to play in that mob that so characteristically we're seeing on those last maps where they were so effectively trading off each other, playing off the utility brilliantly. Instead, Nightblood Gaming are just picking them off, controlling the map excellently. And already Cosmic Divide and Seekers get launched here, as we already see Kun ready to go with the vault line.
Fireball gets hit on by the Seekers, but able to retreat behind the Cosmic Divide. Spike has not made its way all that far forward. Tejo finally going to bring it in. Should be an opportunity to divide the site pretty nicely. Aftershock too late.
Try.
Got to find a way to clear the site first, though. That's the problem. It's got the U-Haul initially. Ferbsa holds the corner. Damaged up, though, by Win. NBG starting to stack for this retake. Benji, oh my goodness, just gets barrel stuffed by Fireball, who takes down 2. Unbelievable. Zerona stepping up, finds a double of their own, plus a little extra! 4 for Zerona, and Sad Esports able to stay alive in the first half.
Oh, that is an important round for them to be able to win out of. Of course, they did expend a couple of ultimates. It would have been even worse if they didn't win that one out, but just an excellent job of Zerona being the clutch that Sad Esports needed. We saw them turn up a little bit in that last map, and Ferbsa finding that kill, shutting down that overdrive. Fireball deciding to turn up as well. So much was going in onto this site. And I mean, you can describe this match as chaotic, and I think that that would just be a little bit of an under-explanation with how some of these rounds have been just playing out.
Wild scenes. This has been chaos from start all the way to where we are here, technically infinite. Unbelievable stuff.
What?
Okay. I mean, it's just, this is sheer chaos. There's no other way of putting it. Ferbsa around the backside of the site. Oh, wow. I mean, it's happening too fast to even cast at a certain moment. I'm not even going to lie to you guys.
Oh, and now, yeah. Of course, the barrier mesh is going to be tossed up here.
Deep.
We see that Sad haven't really given up on the site yet. They're waiting for the smokes to expend and hopefully catch a couple of these members of Nightblood Gaming off as they kind of slip through the back here. Already just eyeing the teleporter, but keep in mind, Alim taking a lot of spades outside of B.
Good trust on the crossfire setup. Salvo going to be called in. Huynh still holding on to Showers, though. The spike still lingering outside mid. Yeah,
It's just so awkward.
It's so awkward. And initially, I think it's like question marks to Benji. Like, why are we throwing the barrier that deep when we don't even have the sight? So a missed opportunity to really establish this post plant. Spike will make its way on. Trailblazer just to re-clear out most of the side. Do they find Huynh? They do. They see the aftershock, or pardon me, the aftershock fault line being called in. Salvo will delay the plant a little bit longer. Pass on the corner with dip. Shoulders on both sides. Neither privy to take the battle. Good flash from Huynh. Wins his 1v1, and then Alem off the flank finally comes to be part of the picture. It's just down to dip. And what would have to be a 1v3 to hold the post plant? Fast lane goes up. Dip, though, taken down by Huynh, who never got dealt with that Showers. Unreal.
I was just about to say, like, you hear the flashpoint go off there. You hear Alem stick it. Absolute knowledge about where these two players are going to be. On top of that, too, you know that they're going to be coming in from Showers. Perfect timing. I was going to question Alem for a second there. Are you kidding? You throw something up. And of course, yeah, the fast lane goes up. The smokes are active, which allow the stomp through to come in from Huynh just to make Dip doubt for a second. And that's all the time that you needed. Unbelievable stuff coming in from both of these teams, and yet Nightblood Gaming are still coming out on top. They had a more than enough utility as well to play it, despite the fact that they were all split up. It just feels like when SAD, once again, are in these uncomfortable situations, things feel a little bit less like comfortable for them. It's awkward. We see Nightblood Gaming just truly reign. They're able to play more for themselves in those strange moments, and it's absolutely showing.
And again, it's just like, there's a level of this that SAD Esports have just not been allowed to play out of their own playbook, largely because Nightblood Gaming just flipped the table over, knocked all the pieces on the floor, and said, we're just going to run at you. And I think that really shook SAD Esports initially. But the thing about it is, the game has stabilized in the last 5 rounds. It's just been the fact that SAD Esports are still playing with a level of panic and like anxiety that this does not feel as calculative as it needs to be when you're running a deadlock on offense. I mean, you have so many tools to get the information you need. Stealth drone, Trailblazer, guiding lights. You can place down stars to break off the site. We're just not seeing the typical smokes come through with the barrier afterwards, and NBG are going to run it down here again.
Yeah, run they will. Alem so deep already, and Dip actually punishes.
That's too much.
What?
Yeah, that's a little bit of a, that was a disrespect overheat. Try to do a little bit of a heat check right there.
And you know what? Hey, if you're SAD Esports, you'll take this any day of the week. Able to recover some of those weaponries, and suddenly this is looking a lot more possible. Keep in mind, Benji also has that Annihilation online.
Huynh needs to find a shoulder to take off, though. Fireball, wait. It's a U-Haul for free. Oh, stop it. We can't be running away with 4v2s like this. The Annihilation puts him up in the air, but may not make a difference. Benji trying to hold. Does Huynh get out of this? No, he does not. So we'll go to an extended 1v1. Benji on the rotation back to B. The neural theft will confirm it.
Oh, just hops over the kill trips as well.
Is that the barrier is deep enough to hold, I think? Yeah, it is. Bycam is up somewhere. Benji doesn't know exactly where it is, though. Now, again, tagged. That allows Fireball to get to work on the barrier. Takes the battle. A couple of body tags come through. And now onto site. Can he hit the headshot? Oh my goodness! No freaking way! It's a 2v4 for NBG!
Wow. You know what? I figured it out. SAD Esports are like a bunch of straight A students. I think that's what's kind of going on here. They're playing Valorant like they're straight A students, meaning when they get their textbooks open, when they know their initiated strats, when they know exactly what they're doing, and oh yes, this needs to land here, and then the flash will go off. They execute beautifully. But as soon as a single wrench gets thrown into the stack of dominoes, it all collapses like a house of cards. They're not able to adapt nearly as well as Nightblood Gaming. And sure, they had a protocol set for that early rush out and were able to find so many early kills because of that preparation. Yeah. And yet still they're not able to walk away with it just with a little bit of positioning from Nightblood Gaming.
I think we're all starting to develop small headache. Trailblazer, X on to 2. That is a big bite from that small dog. Make much of a difference, though. Defense can still hold on to be long, and an extra shoulder out of Huyn will confirm that no one is here, at least not through the smoke. Elim as well, just getting so aggressive through shower.
There.
And Tuzi, okay, at least he throws the little jump peek. They'll know that we can't go towards A anymore. This has to be a B execute.
Stealth drone will more or less confirm that. Trying to play a little bit hidden still. Only did spot out that Sky, but the Sky's never the one who's going to be lurking. So at this point in Nightblood Gaming, they know what's going on.
Stealth drone out. Reveal comes through. Orbital strike. Armageddon just pinning them up inside the octagon. Oh no. 5v3. Dip still seeing if maybe Elim is over here, but they've backed off, and yep, no more mistakes for NBG. They're just going to play backside of sight here with the numbers.
And yeah, we're seeing the regroup from SAD Esports decide to go in on the state side. I'm worried about those trips. Not a lot of utility available, but they're still going to try and make it work.
Elim puts off the angle, switches weapons late into this nebula. Oh, reveal again. It's just the reveals we've seen out of these ciphers has been so devastating. Great fault line through it. Elim will find the final two. It'll be a 9-3 half for Nightblood Gaming on a map that you look at the numbers and it's a 4-0 tally. Arguably SAD Esports' best map, and they are getting rinsed.
They really are getting rinsed. Like, it feels like the rounds that are Nightblood Gaming's rounds, they happen in an instant. They happen in a snap. Like, it's like, oh, and immediately, yeah, okay, this is going to be in the one round. And it feels like every single round that SAD Esports has won, they're fighting tooth and nail to the very end, down to the wire, to try and make those ones work. Unfortunately, not the exact statistic that you would want to see coming out of this half. As now we're going to be seeing the swap come through. SAD Esports are going to be on this defense. Arguably their weaker half based on how they've been playing things. So Nightblood Gaming have a real opportunity to send SAD Esports home for split one.
Yeah, this is not a must-win pistol, but wow, you would love to have it. See if it comes through. No, oh, golly. I mean, I just don't know why we're even throwing shoulders. If you already cleared the angle, hold the angle if you want it. I don't know.
All I'm saying, Sierra's copium was, if Elim turns up, this is going to be a map for Nightblood Gaming, and it appears that Elim is turning up.
Indeed, he may have. Salvo pushes off the play through head. Fireball and U-Haul catches Dip out with utility, and a follow-up from Elim will work out as well. So Nightblood Gaming, with numbers, get the plant, and this rotation is not going to be comfortable for SAD Esports coming through connector.
Yeah, it's just going to be this 2v5 scenario. At least the barrier mesh available here, but going to be asking for a bot.
Well, he gets a couple of players crouched down. That'll be good for two on the corner almost. Win nearly gets stuck. But Benji has done his job. Now it's on to Zerona. Two more to grab. Cass just taking the time. Win. Not going to get baited out. The salvo gets re-earned. Delays the clock even further. You got to take damage to jump on, and there's just no way, no how. It's double-digit rounds for Nightblood Gaming.
Out of all of the two agents that could still be alive, of course, it's the most annoying ones that you have to be so careful and not making sure that you're just getting binged up by all the utility flying at you. And, you know, this just became an even more difficult task for SAD Esports. To be fair, SAD did win the very first pistol round, and we saw Nightblood Gaming absolutely run them down. So maybe something like that can happen here. SAD Esports thing got to make something happen, because otherwise this is just going to very quickly slip away from them.
It's just way different team comp play styles, though. I mean, I don't think there's a such thing as a rundown with SAD Esports with this composition, unless they try to just pull a firing line down B long with Guiding Light, Grab Net, Elim trying to force utility with all this noise. Doesn't happen. Good patience here from SAD. Do they get the right timing on this execute? And nope, doesn't make a difference. The flash is out, though, and the grab net actually does land. But the follow-up from Fireball, what you guys looking at? Easy pitch through Hookah, and it's going to be just down to Doozy.
Hey, for what it's worth, the execute coming in from SAD Esports with all of that utility was perfect. You see the salvos go in, you see the stun happen, everything is perfect. But you know who else was perfect? Fireball off. Just as soon as they hear, oh, that's what's going on, runs it right back down and just hoses them from the back line. And now Tuzi has to come up with a miracle if SAD want to win this one. Otherwise, Nightblood Gaming going to be at 11. Shift, this is not looking good for Sad.
No, it is not.
Spike planted.
Classic 1-star doozy. Made back into this, but no, Fireball's right there with him, and it will be 11-3. Will not be a significant bonus here, but you do have at least the Phantom retained. So an opportunity here for Sad Esports to come through, but they need to win like essentially about a flawless round here. Get the pocket filled up because their lifeline is very, very, very small.
About to say, yeah, you start with a flawless round, and yeah, look at this execute. It's so beautiful. It's so nice, and yet still, I mean, it's just the spray down from Fireball Ops, not even stopping to aim, really. Just completely running at them, left mouse button glued down, and finds all the kills necessary in Nightblood Gaming. They're ready to pack up their bags at this point. Alien running in, already finds one.
And the salvo also lands on the dip, and that is just the epitome of what this map has looked like in a nutshell. Doozy nearly able to stop the spike, but just a bit off on where he was centered up at. Rona, Trailblazer, trying to make his way into Shower. Doozy would love to pinch this, but stopped by Alem on the cross. Flash in the corner, mostly shrugged off his swing, can just play around with Cass. Decent shots, though, from Zerona. Benji also making a bit of a move inside the site, but no, doesn't matter on the health pool. It doesn't matter on the angle. Fireball continues to run and gun, and it's all Nightblood Gaming through 15.
Match point.
Here we go. This is going to be the round that could potentially eliminate Sad Esports. Like we talked about on that last one, that was honestly their best chance, economically speaking, to make sure that they've got something online. Benji went away from getting Annihilation. On the other side, like the Overdrive already ready to go. Fireball Ops one away from the Neural Theft. Like Nightblood Gaming, they're buying up as well. Like sure, bonus, yeah, we could do that, I guess. Or we could just buy up the rifles so we get a nice, easy time and, you know, just get home afterwards and everything is nice and comfortable.
Here we go. It's going to be backs against the wall for the next, well, possibly 9 rounds here for Sad Esports. And Nightblood have already found some damage into the defense over towards B. Stars are placed late. Belt drone denied. Rapnet at the ready. Spam shots continue to come through, but Nightblood Gaming have not committed to this hit yet. They can still teleport out if they want to.
And thankfully not all the utility gets expended for Sad Esports, so they still have some stuff that they can rely on. Trailblazer is just going to confirm that some of the members are still going to be there. As Benji goes a little bit more aggro, and they're flooding in.
Oh, and that works out nicely, okay? But still holding on the corner is Fireball. What? Why are we going in 1 by 1 like this? Here comes the pinch through Hookah. The Overdrive is part of it. Verbsa shut down. And it's going to be down to Toozy with the Stinger. The last bastion for Sad Esports.
Should be able to at least rescue a rifle off the bodies that were clunched there. Once again, excellent just execution of Sad Esports onto the trap, but it's that bounce back that they're just not used to from Nightblood Gaming. Now Toozy does have this Vandal in hand. Alem down to very low HP. Boys still full. Just missing the timing.
Yeah, he gets tucked to the corner. Now this flank has a little bit extra time. Yep, back off. See if you can just wait for Alem to get a part of this play. They're going to completely trap up Doozy. Has to start to play off of, but there's Alem through mid. A 13-3 BTA beatdown, and map number 3 has Nightblood Gaming surviving. And unfortunately for Sad Esports, they will find their 4th loss and be eliminated from this stage.
Yeah, big congratulations from Nightblood Gaming. Everyone was a little bit nervous for them coming into this bind map, especially then going in and seeing their unconventional composition, to say it lightly. But honestly, they played to their strengths beautifully against Sad Esports. And you could just tell Sad Esports, they had some of those executes planned. They had a lot of strategy prepared. And quite frankly, Nightblood Gaming barely gave them a chance to showcase any of the homework that they had done previously. Nightblood Gaming deserve a big congratulations for that. And they still somehow make Neon viable on bind, despite all the nerfs, despite everything that's going on. So Nightblood Gaming now need only one more matchup before they're able to qualify for playoffs.
A heck of a showing and a new threat, I think, established now in what their map pool looked like. A really fun series. I guess fun is one word for it. It was chaos. It was mixy. It was unreal from start to finish. But it is Nightblood Gaming with the win. We're going to have to just a brief break, have the desk break things down, and we still have one more full series of Valorant you're not going to want to miss. So don't go far. We'll be right back.